The A.J. Brown trade is inevitable. The Vrabel and Russini story won't go away. An NFL draft highlights and what's left of free agency. This is Kent, and this is Fanatically Speaking. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fanatically Speaking. This is Kent, and the A.J. Brown trade looks like it is only a matter of time, and that time is going to be June 1st. That's when they can trade him post June 1st and, knock off some of that cap space and that cap hit that they would take. Where and what do they get for him? They've been asking for like a 1 and a 2. We know that there are one team that's in the top of that running. The news reports are coming out, and obviously it's saying that it's going to be the New England Patriots. I got more to say on that, though. And I know I've talked about this before, and obviously it's been talked about since last year, since last season, and now here we are in the offseason. We just got through with the draft, and right before the draft, there's the reports of the Eagles are operating as if A.J. Brown won't be on the team. Howie Roseman, Sirianni, they're all doing the PC answers of he is a Philadelphia Eagle and we want to get better and all the things you say without saying that, hey, we're going to trade A.J. Brown. Now, some interesting takes that have come out with this is a former teammate of A.J. Brown, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He's kind of tweeting and putting out stuff all the time on social about this, but saying that the fans have turned on A.J. Say you love us when we win, but then you turn on us, right? I would say that quote or that saying would be, I think it should be turned on A.J. Brown. And I don't even know if it goes completely to A.J. Brown about winning, right? I don't even know that he cares about winning. And that came up with the Super Bowl when he was just kind of like it kind of feels okay now or empty or still. It was something to the effect of I gotta still get mine, but this lasted a day and now it's back to what can I do or it was kind of in that roundabout way, right? But anyways, I think that could be turned on to A.J. Brown to say you love being here when you get the ball, but you don't. So now you want to leave. And when it doesn't go, everything goes accordingly. Now you're ready to go, or you're just you've kind of worn out your welcome, whatever the case may be, right? And with AJ, with fans, though, with A.J. Brown, and this is fanatically speaking from a fan's point of view, and me being an Eagles fan, I think with any team, though, what fans do, and when they turn on you, and not really turn on you, but when they get mad at a player, it's normally because you don't want to be here. If you don't want to be on the team anymore, it's not about winning and losing. It's about how you perform and act on the field. And that's a big part of this. It's on top of, let's look at the last game you played with the Eagles. Drop passes, right? Stopping routes, arguing with coaches. And this is not the first time this has happened. So when you come out and you say, oh, well, now I want to leave. And that's the word, right? That as far back as week 3 of last year, he asked for a trade after, and I'll get into that in a minute too, I believe. I think he did quit on the team. He quit on the city. He quit on the fans. So, yeah, fans are mad, but they didn't turn on Brown. Brown turned on us and everyone affiliated with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's his teammates, organization. But I look at this, and as being a fan, for as long as I've been a fan. And I look back at the history of this for the Eagles, and I think about, I just say, what the hell, man? We already had to live through this with T.O. and McNabb after the great season, Super Bowl run, the connection that they had. No one could stop them. And I'm just like, man, we got to go through this again, because it's, the word again, the rumor that it's Jalen Hurts and Brown and Hurts don't get along. Their friendship has fizzled, and it didn't happen in a year like, T.O. and McNabb, but 4 years of Brown, and now all of a sudden, now they don't like each other. Now they can't get along. I mean, even though when he runs his routes or certain plays are called, I mean, he's a beast. So, yeah, as a fan, I don't want to lose A.J. Brown, and I've said that. But I'm also kind of over it. And I think the Eagles are too. But as an organization, living through, them trading McNabb, trading Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy, losing, basically, Zach Ertz, which Goddard was in the waiting, right? Even Brian Dawkins, I mean, letting an all-timer Hall of Famer go to another team. This is not going to measure up to all of those. Especially not like the McNabb and Jackson and McCoy and even Foles at the time, like, Chip Kelly just, gutting the team. But good thing for Howie Roseman to be able to bounce back from that. It's been kind of a messy breakup, and I don't think anyone wants to tell the truth about it. Like, when it comes to like AJ, it's kind of like they're not really coming out and saying, like, what's his problem? I mean, there's all these, they dance around it. And I stand on my episode about Jalen Hurts not being the problem. Now, I'm not in there. I don't know it. But, I mean, again, we just have anonymous sources. So who are these anonymous sources? Again, stand up, say your name, and speak your piece. But I think with the Eagles' issues, I don't think it's Jalen Hurts. I think it's been A.J. Brown at times. Whether it be drop passes or not running routes or whatever the case may be. Or just being an issue. Just being an issue on the sidelines or in the locker room or behind closed doors. And even though they've got his back and Sirianni says all the right things, a trade would say something different, right? And the rumors and the word, and where there's smoke then there's fire. But with this team, and especially last season, right? And we know how the Eagles have been. It's been every other year, right? Super Bowl run, down year. Super Bowl run and championship, a down year. So it's a team game, and I think it's been Hurts at times, right? He's not perfect. I didn't say he was perfect, but he's a winner. It's been Brown. It's been like even Saquon not hitting a hole. He doesn't see it. He just runs into a pile, or the defense not getting a stop, or whatever the case may be. Coaching has definitely been an issue with changing coordinators every year, or decision-making by Sirianni. All of that has been it. And again, Brown has been dancing around being a diva receiver, right? He's always killing any questions about drama. But again, his actions, his social media, things like that say different things, right? He always says the right thing after the fact, after you see what he did on the sidelines or in a game or his social media post. So the question goes from there, then, okay, if they're going to trade A.J. Brown, then where do they go from here? And here's what they have right now on the roster. Devontae Smith immediately becomes your number one, right? Then they got Wicks from the Packers. They got Hollywood Brown. They got Elijah Moore. Johnny Wilson's still on the roster. Darius Cooper, Quez Watkins, Britt Covey. Then in the draft this year, they just kind of sealed that trade, I believe, obviously, with drafting Mekhi Lemon from USC, the top-ranked wide receiver in the draft. Thank you, Dallas Cowboys, for that. Don't say that. I don't say that often. And I don't know. It's amazing that they made that deal. And just to get into that deal, by the way, the Cowboys allowed the Eagles to trade up to jump the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were hosting the draft. They had the 21st pick, and they were on the phone with Mekhi Lemon saying, "Congratulations, we're going to draft you at 21. You're going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler." And meanwhile, he's getting a call waiting, and it's the Philadelphia Eagles calling at the same time, saying, "Hey, we've moved up. We're going to pick 20, and we're going to pick you." Where it is, Steelers are pissed Dallas for making that deal because it made them look stupid in Pittsburgh on a national stage that they're making that phone call thinking, well, the Cowboys aren't picking Mekhi Lemon, so we're going to go ahead and make this call. And meanwhile, the Eagles jump, and Howie cooking on draft night, getting that top receiver. They also, as I mentioned before, they needed to add a tight end. They did. I mean, I would still love a Zach Ertz just to come back home before he ends it. But drafting Eli Stowers, that was huge from Vanderbilt in the second round, just like they did with Ertz and Goddard. So, again, adding two weapons to this offense with that already, mini wide receivers. All those guys won't be on the roster, but I think this is something we've been waiting on. It's nice to have A.J. Brown in that legitimate number one wide receiver, and with him and Smith was amazing, right? But it was always like, but who's the number 3, and then who's like number 4 if we got 4 wides, and who else are options outside of Goddard and a running back or whoever. So this is something we've been waiting on in Philly to have many options at wide receiver. The offense, I think, should open up more now, and it might be better with Smith as a 1 because, he's not a give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, and if I don't, I'm going to pout and act like a little baby. Like, he's not that diva receiver or cause issues. He's always been professional. Even if he's not happy, like, there's a way to talk about it and not be, like, oh, I'm done. I'm going to quit. I've never seen Devontae Smith quit. So definitely should be better offense. I think pressure is definitely, it's going to be on Jalen Hurts to spread the ball. He's got a lot of eyeballs on him to bounce back, which, again, I have no doubt that he won't. Like, I don't know how everyone's given up on him based off of they say down season, but it wasn't that down. But, again, it's going to be on him to spread the ball, hit open guys. Routes should be better with that many good receivers. Sean Mannion he's got to make it work. You the new OC. What do you got? Sirianni has to make it work too. I think everyone's going to be graded on this season, especially after last year's, inept offense at times, really most of the time, and chaos, right? We want to see something different. We want to see like that Kellen Moore type of offense. Just give me something. And with trading A.J. Brown, but it seems inevitable. But that salary, again, that extra salary that you would be paying him, and I said you got to get better at the edge, O-line. Those are definitely spots you could pay someone. And then they traded on draft night for Jonathan Grenard from Minnesota and already signed him to a 4-year, $100 million deal. That should be another sign that A.J. Brown is going to be traded. And I've come to terms with the fact that, again, he doesn't want to be here. It's not the fans' fault for being upset or mad. Again, it's part of being a fan. And at the same time, for A.J., he has the right to ask for a trade. It doesn't mean the Eagles have to grant him his wish, or they don't have to trade him to the team he wants to go to or the team that wants him. The worst kept secret, right? Here's what I want the Eagles to do, and that's trade him to the team with the best offer. Right? That's it. If the deal goes down, we'll see who blinked. Was it Roseman? Was it the Patriots? Because we know the Patriots are the team, right? And he said he wanted a 1 and 2. He wasn't backing off of that. I don't want to see like, oh, well, we'll send you to the Patriots and we'll take a 2 and a 3, or something different than what you originally said you would take for A.J. Brown. Other teams could be willing to play hardball with them, right? They could be like, hey, we're going to, we know he wants out. We know y'all are looking to trade him now, so we won't give you a 1 and a 2, but we'll give you this. But to me, the Patriots should get hosed by the Eagles in any trade. They hold the power, right? I think the Eagles, with the report coming out that he asked for a trade after week 3 of the Rams last year, and that goes back to that team, a game in which the team came back. They won in dramatic fashion. He took that game over with Jalen Hurts in the second half. Again, the ball being thrown by Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown. And what this tells me is it's bigger than football. I believe the rumors, like I said, of him and Jalen are true. I think their relationship did sour. I go back to that. And it could be anything. It could be the treatment Jalen gets as a franchise quarterback, Sirianni's coaching. All that could be a factor. But again, like I said, the Eagles hold the power with all this. No matter what's going on, the Eagles hold the power with a trade with the New England Patriots because it's obviously they want them. They flirted with them. They got Julian Edelman out here on this podcast begging them, and then they making the little April Fool's jokes. Kevin Byard out here now in New England talking about he wants talking about Brown coming. It's not been a good secret. Brown has been bad feeding into the rumors again with that April Fool's jokes or going on podcasts or just tweet talking, whatever the case may be. He's really added fuel to that fire. So again, that's AJ being AJ, right? Not coming out completely saying I want out or I want this, but saying it without saying it, right? Shady McCoy has come out and warned A.J. Brown that the grass isn't always greener sometimes, right? And that's an old saying, right? The grass ain't always greener. Like, be careful what you wish for because that grass that he wants to go to might not be greener, and it's actually really dirty right now. So that grass, when I talk about grass being greener, over there is the New England Patriots. And again, it's kind of dirty right now. They managed to, go to the Super Bowl, had a little bit of drama, a little off-field stuff with Stephon Diggs. They got rid of him. And even though all that happened, I'm like, so they're full of drama. A.J. Brown likes drama. And apparently he wants more of it because one of the biggest stories over the past week or so is the Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini cheating scandal. So AJ, he's just upset about whatever in Philly, his role, getting the ball, his numbers, Jalen Hurts, the offense, whatever the case, because he's never really said it. Or maybe he just wants to go to the New England Patriots, which again, I don't understand. If there's something going on behind the scenes, again, I don't know why the Eagles would grant him his wish. I would be like, hey, we're an organization, we're a winning organization, and we're going to trade you wherever the hell we want. So Mike Vrabel, Dianna Russini, let's just kind of get into that right now for just a little bit. I haven't done anything on it. It's gotten more and more deeper each day, each week, right? It was barely being covered. Then ESPN was like, well, I guess we got to cover it. And then it's on national news. Then it's on national, these big podcasts who don't even cover sports, right? Because it just keeps getting worse and worse. So he's come out. And originally, both of them denied anything. They were just like, oh, this was taken out of context. It's innocent. They were friends, both of us, and we just happened to be there at the same time. And then, that, of course, that ended up not being true because everyone that was even there at that hotel, spa, whatever, right? Hey, we didn't see anybody we didn't see any group of women. We didn't see any group of guys. And mind you, the pictures that came out of them holding hands and hugging and at the pool and, hot tub, it was like 10:30 in the morning. So, a little, that kind of says what it says, right? So we lead up to draft, and again, now at this point, right, we do know that Russini has resigned from the Athletic, and Vrabel kind of is changing his tune, and he does come out that he, difficult conversations with his family, players, coaches, and organization. He all but admitted to mistakes, right? Without really saying, hey, I cheated on my wife. I'm out here cheating. Russini's cheated on her husband. He says he's going to go to counseling and miss day 3 of the draft. Okay. So my question about that is, it's really funny because he's out here like, hey guys, I'm really like, I'm having these difficult conversations, and look at poor me, Mike Vrabel. I'm going to go to counseling though, and I'm going to have to miss day 3 of the draft. Again, so that's the only day you could go to counseling? Is that supposed to make everyone say, well, look at this guy. He's really committed to working on himself and his family. Okay. Like I said, you couldn't go today. You couldn't go Monday, Sunday. I mean, you couldn't go any day the week after draft. You got to it had to be like, look at me, guys. I'm missing day 3. I think he's trying to play the victim, trying to get some sympathy somewhere, right? That he just made a mistake, right? And it's really funny because, again, it's, this came like a week or how many weeks after Russini, took all the heat, like female reporter messing with, sources like a coach, or, that's just like, yeah, you're giving all female reporters a bad name out here sleeping with a coach of an NFL team, someone you cover, the sport that you cover, right? And she loses her job, basically, right? I mean, I think her contract was going to be up anyways, but it was like after they investigated, it was kind of like, yeah, you got to go. Meanwhile, Vrabel keeps his job. The Patriots are standing behind him. And again, it's not morally, it's not right. It's kind of dirty. It's kind of, it can get a little bit sketchy, right? Him being a coach, her being a reporter. I mean, there's not really, I think there's information, but I think that always could be the case with reporters that they get or have a friendship or a relationship without, again, sleeping with each other. But of course, more photos then come out of Vrabel and Russini from years ago, like 5-6 years ago. Like the day after he got fired from the Titans, they're hanging out. Even before then, and they're kissing, and they're at the bar, and they're hanging. I mean, this is like, oh, this didn't just happen one time, right? And then you get the rumor, you get the Maury Povich that her first son is named after Mike Vrabel because they have the same name, Michael. And of course, she doesn't help her matters with all her comments and tweets. And this tweet about her son, about the name Michael of great football player and even coaches. And I'm like, everyone's like, whoa, like Mike Vrabel was a player and he is a coach. His name is Michael. And then, of course, it's talking about, is that his son? Which is crazy, right? It is absolutely crazy. And it is a rumor, but I mean, you start connecting dots and people put 2 and 2 together and like, well, maybe this is true. But again, like I said, she hasn't helped help matters with all this, because now you can dig up video and tweets and everything she said on camera, and it's incriminating. She's always bashing her husband. She's always putting out things that connects her to Vrabel. or cheating or not being happily married. She's, talking about partying in Miami and her husband wouldn't approve and being away from her husband, and they basically are just roommates or whatever the case. They're away for so much. Their texts are so robotic. All this going on, right? Meanwhile, she's, they got the flirty video of her and Vrabel, and, it's just a lot. And you can kind of say, okay, and it is what it is, right? I don't think it's the end of the world. It's not the first time. Again, she's going to take more flack because she's, she's a female reporter. And again, it's a bad look. And for him, it's a bad look as a leader of men and a leader of, not that any of these guys are saints, obviously, the Patriots of all teams, of all, like I said, being dirty, being the drama, A.J. Brown, this is what you want. But you're going to a team who had, the Spa King, Robert Kraft, going to spas and doing all that, had that scandal. The cheating with Brady and Belichick. Again, Diggs last year. I mean, even Aaron Hernandez, this is like the New England Patriots just have a way of having drama or off the field things with their players. So A.J. Brown, being a diva receiver, will be light work, but still drama that this franchise apparently loves. And just to A.J. about that grass being greener, even though it's dirty, good luck with him getting the ball every pass while they've just added Romeo Doubs. They still have Mac Hollins, Kayshon Boutte, Kyle Williams, Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas. They have a good group of receivers and tight end, right? Teams are going to target stopping A.J. Brown. And if he runs routes and drops passes like he did in Philly, he might not be open, or he might not, have the numbers that he's hoping to get. And he's going with Drake May over Jalen Hurts, which is that what he wants? So he did get, Hurts does have 2 Pro Bowls, 3 second-team All-Pros, and a Super Bowl ring with 2 appearances in the Super Bowl. By the way, once again, in those Super Bowls, Jalen Hurts balled out. Drake May, in his solo appearance this past season, did not ball out. And it's really hard to get back, right? Now, A.J. Brown might not care, right? He's got his ring. Winning is not his number one priority. Getting the ball, getting his numbers is. And I say that because, again, only 4 quarterbacks have gone back and won a title after losing their first Super Bowl. Hurts is the only one in the last, damn near 30 years, right? So it was Len Dawson, Bob Greasy, John Elway, and Jalen Hurts. Pretty good company. It doesn't look good for Drake May, right? Now, he's very young, so he's got a whole life. He's got a whole career ahead of him. But again, go tell Dan Marino how easy it is to get back to the Super Bowl after making it, right? As a young quarterback. And then we go to, I have to look at a bright side, right? I have to look at the bright side of things here. And the bright side for the Philadelphia Eagles is that in a trade for A.J. Brown, whether it be the Patriots or whether they make sure he goes to somewhere like the Jets or Browns or just the crummiest team they could send him to, that's what I would do. But if they're going to get picks, right? And that'll help build depth at key positions that they're going to need. I also like it because, again, they're going to have to pay Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter. These are guys, they got to pay these guys. And if you're paying AJ a lot to be an issue, and if he wants to go, again, it's okay. And Devontae Smith will become your number 1. As I mentioned before, he's not a diva. I think he could he have a season or start being like a Jackson Smith in Jigba? Maybe. But he is a Devontae Smith, and we know he is even though he was the number 2 receiver, they both were number 1s. And the rest of the league, the Eagles, that he'll be their number 1. The rest of the league, they hope they found their number 1 receiver and maybe their next piece to help their franchise reach the next level. All right, so speaking of teams outside of the Eagles and the NFL draft, building their rosters, young talent to help them reach the next level or get better, improve, however possible. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the draft. I just want to hit the highlights. We got the, what I took from it, who the teams that, caught my eye, the quarterbacks that were picked and where they were picked and who picked them. Most of the quarterbacks, not all of them. And then the best remaining free agents out there, because now now the teams are building, continue to build. Now the draft's over, get your free agents. So the first thing, we can look at is the Arizona Cardinals picking Jeremiah Love. They went with a running back at that 3rd pick, and obviously he was the best running back in the draft. And it's a great pick, Notre Dame. Gotta love it. Jeremiah Love. So questions arise about what they're going to be, paying him versus if they'd have picked another position. Love immediately is a top paid running back without even playing a game. And then that next contract, you gotta pay him, and it'll be even more. So all those things go into play. But the Cardinals, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. They were looking for a quarterback. They still got Brissett, who was it, Minshew, something like that. I don't know. They needed a young quarterback. They did add Carson Beck. Now, we don't know if Beck's going to be a good pro, but at least they're trying. At least they went in and got a young quarterback. I still expect the Cardinals to be not as good, but that was a big highlight because was it the right pick? Only time will tell for the Arizona Cardinals. One of the favorite teams that I like to talk about on this show as being trash, the New York Jets. They went with David Bailey with their 2nd pick of the draft. Later added Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr., which is great. I think they had a good draft. I think the Bailey pick will get looked at because of other guys that got picked after, and that's always the case with those top, especially the top, 3, 4, 5 picks. It's like, who did you pick? And it depends on also where guys get picked, right? Kind of like the Jets, though, with their picks, and they did, they did go get a quarterback later in the 4th round. They got Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik. Now, again, is he the answer? I don't know. Geno Smith, I don't think is the answer. So again, Geno Smith is still their quarterback. Aaron Glenn's still their coach, and I mentioned them many, many times again. Are they going to bounce back? Are they going to improve? Hey, great draft. I still think, though, they're at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to NFL teams. Another crazy pick that happened, the Los Angeles Rams, who are in a prime window still for a Super Bowl, drafted quarterback Ty Simpson from Alabama at 13. Seems early for Simpson. Many projected him as a first rounder. And, will he be a reach for the Rams, who get their future quarterback, but they don't go and draft a player that could help them now? I know McVay was like, hey, we're not just one player away. We're there. You would still think you would take that pick. I mean, they trade, to take Simpson. Again, Stafford is the MVP. Now, how many years does he have left? No one knows. I think it's year by year. And I get it. The Rams, they think, hey, we really like Simpson, and we're going to take him because we're good at every other position. Now there's question marks about Puka Nacua, his rehab, and, Devontae Adams' health sometimes. So could have been like, hey, you could have got a receiver, maybe defensive. There's all kinds of things they could have done. And again, only time will tell. But again, I think it seems to be a reach. Like some didn't have Simpson in the first round where others did, but it would be like maybe later. And the Rams took a shot, But I feel like if he was that good, or if he's as good as they think he is, now again, the Rams are a much better organization than a Jets, Browns, teams like that, Dolphins, teams that I think could use a quarterback. They didn't say, well, let me trade up, or maybe they were just going to wait and see. But the Rams didn't. They pulled the trigger. Again, we shall see. It pains me. It pains me to say the Cowboys did add to their revamped defense Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence with their first-round picks, along with, they got Pickens to sign the franchise tag. So congratulations to the Dallas Cowboys. You will be the Super Bowl champions. It's 30 years. Long time waiting, long time coming. I'm going to go ahead and crown you because I know ESPN is. I know the world is. We'll have to hear about it all the time. So let me just congratulate all the Cowboy fans out there, all my friends that are Cowboy fans. Congratulations. You won the draft, so you're going on to the Super Bowl. Congratulations. It pains me as well. The New York Giants had a good draft. Really good draft, Arvell Reese. I'm going to butcher this name. I know I should know it, but Francis Magoa, Colton Hood, Malachi Fields, Maui Goa. Yeah. Francis Maui Goa. Colton Hood, Malachi Fields. They had a really good draft. They've had a really good offseason, and they have John Harbaugh. I expect a lot of competition for the Philadelphia Eagles, even though, again, they have seemingly replaced A.J. Brown with Mekhi Lemon, Eli Stowers. Another team that I love to trash, the Cleveland Browns. We talked about how good a draft they had, adding receivers with Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston. They got Spencer Fano, the tackle, with their first pick in the ninth pick of the draft from Utah. And then later they get Taylon Green, who I'd heard a lot about, right? Arkansas. Like going up to the draft, everyone loved Taylon Green. So here we go. They've added another quarterback for the second year in a row to an already crowded QB room. They have Deshaun Diddy Watson. They have Shedeur Sanders. They have Dylan Gabriel. Now they have Taylon Green. Now, again, they did help themselves, but the Browns just, again, they collect quarterbacks. And funny enough, a mock draft have them taking Arch Manning next year. Now, could Arch Manning be better than everybody on the team? Very well. I think he needs to show a lot more in college to be up there at the draft, but I thought that was just hilarious that, again, they're just picking quarterbacks every year and collecting them. And, hey, make a decision. Be strong in your decision on who you're going to start this year. Other quarterbacks that have some different backgrounds and paths, Garrett Nussmeier one time was going to be the top quarterback, if not one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. And he ended up going 7th round to the Chiefs, which is a good spot for him. He's going to learn. I think the injury concern factored in the drop. Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt, invited to the Rams camp after going undrafted. And I think talent, skills, his attitude, all factored here. He could have been. He was a Heisman finalist, but nobody cares about that anymore as much. And I think the things that he says and all this, it like superseded Shedeur Sanders, and from like last year his drop. Now Pavia, he just don't even get picked, and for him, unfortunate for him, his daddy is not Deion Sanders. Now I am a Shedeur fan. I believe Shedeur should have been drafted better, but Pavia just didn't have that clout to back him up, and teams were just like, yeah, we'll pass. We'll pass on that. It's not that big a deal. Steelers get Drew Aller from Penn State as they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers. They get a young quarterback. I think he's, they got Howard last year, but I think this is a better pick. And we'll see. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers comes back another year. He'll make us wait all summer. Yeah. So with these quarterbacks being picked, though, I will say, and looking, like we said, looking at next year, Arch Manning could be the prize quarterback. I look at the Dolphins, the Browns, the Jets, the Cardinals. I even look at the Falcons, the Vikings, the Colts, and maybe even the Steelers. They all might have tough years, and they all might need a quarterback for now or the future. Because I'm not going to sit here and say for sure all these guys are going to work out. But as for now, Aaron Rodgers and a lot of other guys are still out there and available. Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers is still available. A lot of guys are still out there available. And I'm just going to go through the list really quick, 10 of the top ones, and then I'll name some others. But free agents are still out there. Draft's over. Now we're getting into these guys will find homes as rosters. They sign them probably for a cheaper deal at this point, and to see if they can latch on either now or in the summer during camps, things like that. Injuries are going to happen, so some of these guys could last until the beginning of the year or into the season. So some of the top 10 free agents, Aaron Rodgers is one of them. Even at his age, quarterback, I think it's really only Steelers or bust. Jawan Jennings, really good wide receiver, San Francisco. Not sure why he hasn't been signed yet. Deebo Samuel, still a weapon. Had his 1 year in Washington. He's out there. Taylor Decker, good tackle. Joey Bosa, edge rusher. Bobby Wagner, age is catching up to him, but still a solid linebacker, leader. Stephon Diggs, great receiver, has some issues, but did just go to a Super Bowl. But he definitely is a weapon. Jadeveon Clowney, best years are behind him, but I think he was a solid pickup for the Cowboys. Rasul Douglas can still play corner. David Njoku, good tackle. I mean, good tight end tackle. Yeah, good tight end. And again, we're sorting out, but other guys out here that could definitely be a piece on teams. Keenan Allen, wide receiver. Nick Chubb, running back. Will Hernandez, guard. Calais Campbell, he just keeps playing, 40 years old. Mike Hilton, corner. Russell Wilson. I don't know he's getting a starting job, but he could help. I take him over some of these guys who are getting a chance to be quarterback. DJ Reader, defensive tackle. Jonnu Smith, tight end. Von Miller, still kicking. Limited snaps, man. He gets numbers. He gets sacks. Tyreek Hill coming off injury. It might not be this year, right? Or it could be during the that's one that's just kind of like not sure. Mekhi Becton. I know one team that would take him back. Guard. Cam Robinson, tackle. Cam Jordan still has a motor. Defensive end out of New Orleans. Trevon Diggs, corner. The Packers gave up on him pretty quickly. So a lot of NFL going on, of course, this past weekend. So probably, unless something crazy happens with the Russini and Vrabel story, might be until that A.J. Brown trade happens, some stuff in the offseason. I'm sure NFL on this show will maybe a little break. You never know. I just go with the flow. All right? I just go with the flow, what's happening, what's popular, what's going on. And as for the show, you can listen to the show on all podcast outlets, even YouTube, just no video. Follow the show on social media Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You can keep up with episodes when they're available, the topics. Just stay connected to the show. Listen, share, like, follow, comment, download, all that fun stuff, especially listen and share. Remember, whatever device you listen to, just go and tap that app. And for this episode, I am